and we are moving towards the first session of this FDP. Our resource person, Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal ji, has joined with us. Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal ji, he is a chartered accountant, an economic thinker, social activist, and human rights activist. Sir, I welcome you here on this platform. I thank you also for sharing your time with us, taking out time to be with us. And your today's topic for your speech is financial resolution mechanism. Shri Gopal Krishna Agarwal ji, I would like to invite you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivani ji. I am
you,
audible clearly?
Yes, sir, you are.
Thank you. I convey my regards to all the faculty members here and all people who have joined in this session. I also would like to thank Dr. Satna Sharma ji for inviting me and giving me this opportunity, and Shivani ji for conducting this seminar so efficiently and nicely. Amna ji has introduced me to this college, and this is, I think, my third or second visit on this college, and today is a very important subject, very dear to me, and it's also very relevant in the current situation. It will also, I think, will give a lot of opportunities to all the finance professionals who would like to take this up as their career, because it's a very upcoming subject and it is very relevant in the economic scenario ecosystem currently. The financial resolution mechanism. I thank the college for choosing such a good subject, which surely will bring a lot of opportunities. I have also come out with a PPT, some 5-6 slides. Okay, so the thing is that if we want to discuss this important topic, my PPT is in 4 broad heads. पहला तो यह है कि important thing is that we have to have a financial contract design. That is the most important. आ रही है ना आवाज सही तरीके से? Hello?
जी सर, you are very clear, sir.
हाँ, तो financial resolution mechanism में the basic structure is, it is about the debt. Somebody is giving some money to other person to do the business, and then for that he is charging some interest, and he also expects that it should be returned at the time when the principal is due for repayment. And mostly bank and financial institutions lend to the business entities. And for that, there has to be an important financial contract design. That is the most important thing. Then the second is, in case something goes wrong, then the second important thing in this whole ecosystem is financial resolution mechanism. That is what important. And that what is the resolution mechanism in case the business goes wrong. The third is, what are the insolvency and bankruptcy laws in the country. And fourth is, what is the structure with regard to the current COVID situation. These are the 4 important topics. Briefly, I will discuss. In any business environment or in any mechanism, the thing is that various stakeholders are involved in the businesses. One is the debtors are there who lend money. Another is the promoter who promotes the business. Third is the creditors who are actually receiving the money. Then there are employees who have a stake in the business. Even the government also has a stake in the business, and various financial institutions. So the whole IBC law should be such that it takes care of all these stakeholders: debtors, creditors, promoters, employees, government, financial institutions, business communities. All interest of all these stakeholders have to be taken care of in case how to do business, in case how debt and other contracts are designed, how rules and regulations are clarified, clearly mentioned. In case the business goes wrong, how that money will be recovered. So this whole ecosystem is where that is considered in the financial resolution mechanism. And in any business, when we are talking of ease of doing business, it is important that we have easy entry and easy exit also. That is also very important, because internationally, if you see how the World Bank defines ease of doing business, it also talks about definitely how to set up a business is important. We have a good structure in the country to set up the business, government, etc. Rules, regulations are there. But over the year, we were lacking in some resolution mechanism. With the advent of insolvency and bankruptcy code, the whole ecosystem was put in place so that in case where risks are there in the business, if something goes wrong, the businesses gets an easy and respectable exit. The money blocked in the business, etc., is paid back. All these issues are taken care in the IBC mechanism. Why this IBC is required, why this financial resolution is required, is because there are various risks in the business. It is not simple that when you do a business, there are many uncertainties. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसके बारे में हम पहले पता नहीं होता, चाहे वो इकोनॉमिक रिस्क है, देन जेन्युइन फेलियर्स भी होते हैं कई बार बिजनेसेस के, क्योंकि सरकार की कुछ पॉलिसीज है, जैसे लैंड एक्विजिशन पॉलिसी है, एनवायरमेंटल पॉलिसीज है. कई बार इन सारी पॉलिसीज में, गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज में चेंज आता है. ई कॉमर्स पॉलिसी है, रिटेल ट्रेड पॉलिसी है. सरकार बहुत सारी पॉलिसीज बनाती है लोगों के बिजनेस करने के लिए. कई बार उन पॉलिसीज में चेंज हो जाता है. उस पॉलिसीज के चेंज के कारण कुछ बिजनेसेस हैं जो कि रिस्क में हो जाते हैं, जो फेलियर में चले जाते हैं. तो ऐसा बिजनेस रिस्क है पॉलिसी चेंज का. फिर कई बार टेक्नोलॉजिकल चेंज हो जाते हैं. जैसे हमने देखा कि बीएसएनएल और एमटीएनएल एक टाइम में बहुत अच्छी चल रही थी कंपनियां, लेकिन धीरे धीरे ये जो मोबाइल फोन और ये सब आ गए, तो जो लैंडलाइंस थे वो सब खत्म हो गए. तो आज के समय में बीएसएनएल, एमटीएनएल, पूरा इतना बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर था, वो काफी मुसीबत में फंस गया. तो टेक्नोलॉजिकल चेंजेस आ जाते हैं, इनोवेशन आ जाते हैं, नए नए स्कोप ऑफ बिजनेसेस आ जाते हैं. उनके कारण भी कई बार बिजनेस के फेलियर हो जाते हैं. कई बार जेन्युइन बिजनेस रिस्क भी है, कोई नेचुरल कैलेमिटीज आ जाती हैं. इस तरह के जो रिस्क होते हैं उनको जेन्युइन बिजनेस रिस्क के अंतर्गत कर देते हैं, जो कि प्रमोटर्स के खुद के कंट्रोल में नहीं है. प्रमोटर उसके बारे में कुछ नहीं करता. हर आदमी बिजनेस करता है कि मेरे को प्रॉफिट होगा, आई विल अर्न मनी आउट ऑफ. बट दिस पॉलिसी चेंज, टेक्नोलॉजिकल चेंज, natural calamities, etc., make sometimes the business very risky. So you have to deal with those genuine risks. Then there are risks of frauds and manipulation. Many of the time we see that the promoters have run away, taking money from the banks and other, even from the capital market, equity market. They have come out with an IPO and then just siphoned off that money to other companies and then ran off. So promoters का manipulation वाला भी है. And then there are frauds by the employees. Sometimes cyber frauds भी हो जाते हैं, employees भी fraud कर लेते हैं. इस तरह के रिस्क भी होते हैं, उनको भी डील करना है. और इन सारे रिस्कों को, इसलिए जब आप रिजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म के ऊपर बात करते हो तो यू हैव टू लुक इनटू हाउ टू डील विद दिस रिस्क, हाउ टू डील व्हेन देयर इज अ जेन्युइन रिस्क इन अ बिजनेस, हाउ टू डील व्हेन देयर आर sometimes frauds or which are not within the purview of control of the promoters. तो जब ये बिजनेस फेलियर्स हो जाते हैं तो जिन जिन स्टेक होल्डर्स का मैंने बताया, उन लोगों ने कुछ ना कुछ अपना पैसा लगाया है, किसी ने अपना टाइम लगाया है, किसी ने अपनी इक्विटी कैपिटल लगाई, किसी ने डेट कैपिटल लगाया है, कोई वेंडर्स भी हैं, कोई गवर्नमेंट के भी रीपेमेंट के कई बार वो होते हैं कि उनके टैक्स देने हैं, जीएसटी का कलेक्शन देना है, इनडायरेक्ट डायरेक्ट टैक्स, इस तरह के रेवेन्यू डिपार्टमेंट की लायबिलिटीज भी होती हैं. तो उन सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स का इंटरेस्ट कैसे प्रोटेक्ट हो, और इन जो रिस्क है इसके अंदर बाइफर्केशन करना भी बहुत जरूरी है. तो जो हमारा करंट फाइनेंशियल रिजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म है वह सेग्रीगेट करता है, कैटेगराइज करता है कौन से रिस्क हैं, उन रिस्क को कैसे डील करना है, और उन रिस्क में अगर जेन्युइन बिजनेस फेलियर्स हैं तो उनको रिस्पेक्टेबल एग्जिट रूट भी प्रोवाइड करना है. और जिन उसके बाद जो एसेट्स में, इन्वेस्टमेंट में जो रनिंग गोइंग कंसर्न्स के हिसाब से जो बिजनेस में पैसा लग गया है, उस पैसे को कैसे रिकवर करना है और जो वेरियस स्टेक होल्डर्स को उनका ड्यू अमाउंट कैसे रीपेमेंट करना है, यह सारा जो पूरा स्ट्रक्चर है वह इस फाइनेंशियल रिजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म का पार्ट है. Currently, after the introduction of IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and setting up the NCLT, now we have a very well developed structure to resolve this. And financial resolution mechanism is not only for recovering money. It is not that I have lent some money to somebody. It is not an instrument to recover the money. जैसे negotiable instrument में का क्लॉज 131 है कि आपने किसी को पैसा दिया, चेक बाउंस हो गया, तो यू हैव अ लीगल रिकोर्स. बट ये जो फाइनेंशियल रिजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म है, इट इज टू रिजॉल्व द क्राइसिस, रिजॉल्व द रिस्क एंड गेट वॉट एवर इज पॉसिबल आउट ऑफ द बिजनेस, सो दैट at point of time when there are certain management who are inefficient, etc., in case they are not able to manage the things, इनएफिशिएंसी भी एक कारण होती है, तो उस समय में दैट होल बिजनेस कैन बी टेकन ओवर फॉर अ डिफरेंट पर्सन बाय अ डिफरेंट ग्रुप ऑफ पर्सन, सो दैट इट कैन गो एज ए रनिंग और कंटिन्यूसली बिजनेस कंटिन्यूटी प्लान के अंतर्गत भी आता है. तो यह सारी चीजों का इस सिस्टम में करेंटली हमारे देश में यह इस सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए यह बनाया गया पूरा मैकेनिज्म. सो आई कम टू द सेकंड स्लाइड. अब इस पूरे इकोसिस्टम में आईबीसी के फाइनेंशियल रिजोल्यूशन मैकेनिज्म के उसमें रिजोल्यूशंस में जो इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है वह है, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है कि जब आप डेट और कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में एंटर करते हैं तो फाइनेंशियल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का डिजाइन सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसमें बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटी, अगर हम बिजनेस, मेरे बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स हैं विथ वर्किंग विद द public sector undertaking, banks, etc., on the board of them, and even as a chartered accountant also, and even as an economic consultant, etc., I found that we lack a lot of capacity on financial contract design. If the contract is designed very nicely, all the terms are well defined, it takes into consideration all the relevant eventualities and describe rules and rights and duties of every stakeholder, and in case of failures, the dispute resolution mechanism is clearly defined, whether it has to go to the arbitration, how it is to be resolved. So the most important thing in the financial resolution at the basic stage is financial contract design. If it is very efficient, it is clearly, explicitly gives all the terms and conditions, the whole financial resolution mechanism becomes very important. Because what happens is in the bankruptcy or failures in the business, at times it is not only that liquidity is the problem. If you see into certain issues like ILFS or Bhushan Steel or Ruchi Soya, these are very good companies. Their whole project, I have seen Bhushan Steel and Ruchi Soya and ILFS cases. If you can also get a chance, do study these cases of financial resolution mechanism being used by them, was that they are good companies. They had lot of assets and they had sufficiently good access to liquidity. What happened in the case of ILFS was asset and liabilities were mismatched. The time frame in which the liabilities could be received and the time frame in which assets, liabilities had to be paid and the asset could be realized, that could not match. So asset liability mismatch is one of the major reasons for business failures. And in case other also like Bhushan Steel and Ruchi Soya, they had very efficient plants, but the management was not very efficient. So what happened that Bhushan Steel was taken over by Tata, Ruchi Soya has been taken over by Patanjali Group. So a new management would run these companies in an efficient manner and as a going concern. So it is because we have a good law with regard to the IBC that these companies which could have gone into liquidation and lot of employment etc. would have been lost, lot of money would have been lost, that is saved. So it is because good financial resolution mechanism is in place. In the ILFS also what happened was what they did was they the borrowing was a short term and lending. They lend for a infrastructure project which had a large gestation period. So the asset liability mismatch took place in the time frame. So these all things have to be very well defined. If they are very well taken care of in the financial resolution mechanism, then we will have a good system of financial resolution. Second important thing in the bankruptcy and resolution comes place is if in case the company has to go into the liquidation, the important part is how the assets will be realized, how the assets will be sold, or how assets will be transferred, how they will be valued. These all activities are also part of the resolution, financial resolution mechanism. After contract design, all these things are important, that who will manage the company once it is taken over from a existing management in the intermediate period, how it will be run, how the assets will be identified, how they will be preserved, how that valuation will take place, how after this valuation, if it has to be sold, certain assets which are to be sold, then how what process will be taken. All these are part of the IBC resolution rules, regulation mechanism, and even it also has clauses with regard to this dispute resolution. Because there are various stakeholders, they have to be ranked according to the priorities. Certain are secured creditors, some people are money lended by the financial institution, sometimes government liabilities also to be met, even vendors have to be paid. Now we have seen in the IBC process that home buyers at a point of time were not considered as a committee of creditors. They did not have any right on the assets of the company. So even though they had paid a lot of money to the home buyers organization, still they could not get their right, neither the house nor the money. So they went to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that they should be part of the committee of creditors. So the dispute resolution means how these creditors etc. will be ranked, and how they will be paid, in what proportion they will be paid if the company has to go into liquidation. So these are all part of the resolution mechanism. The next point that I would like to say is, I have talked about this financial contract design. Basically, I have told about you about that. This financial resolution also, what I have clearly mentioned about what are the parts of this financial resolutions. Then next is comes the insolvency and bankruptcy law. Currently, what is the status of insolvency and bankruptcy laws in the country? That is very important, because ultimately from here we can generate career for ourselves. The whole mechanism is that IBC insolvency and bankruptcy code is there, which defines all rules, regulation, and laws which govern how the company will get into this resolution mechanism. If it is bankrupt, it cannot be run, then how the assets will be auctioned or sold, and how money will be realized. And if it is a short-term insolvency, that asset liability mismatch, can somebody, the new promoter, can come and finance the intermediary working of the company. All these things are given in the IBC code, insolvency and bankruptcy code. It is the law, and it has rules also in addition to code. The whole thing is managed by a separate code, NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. It is the overseeing portion which will look into the legal issues where if there are various disputes, ultimately the whole resolution plan, which is made out of certain company which is going for this resolution, that whole plan is made by certain professionals. That plan has to be verified and checked by the NCLT, and once the NCLT gives a go ahead, then this whole insolvency and resolution plan is implemented. Various other stakeholders in this whole ecosystem is in behind, besides NCLT, is this IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. It is the regulatory body. NCLT is the judiciary body. IBC code and rules are the laws, etc. And IBBI is the regulatory body. It regulates various state professionals, etc. involved into the insolvency and financial resolution processes. The various intermediaries and professionals, that those who are involved into this process are insolvency professionals. All the three Institute of Chartered Accountant, Institute of Company Secretary, and Institute of Cost Accountants, they all three professional bodies have come out with insolvency professional companies, where they register, give training to the people to work into this field. It's a highly lucrative business because a lot of NPAs have accumulated into the bank over the period because of we did not have earlier any insolvency and bankruptcy law. So these professionals are trained, regulated. Their disciplinary committees, they look into their violation of any laws, etc. by the professional, because a lot of money is involved. So all the three professional institutes have a subsidiary which regulates, registers, gives training to professionals. So those students, etc. from here who want to take up into this career, they have to either get themselves registered with any professional bodies. Even Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, a government body, has a 2 years course specifically dealing with insolvency and bankruptcy code mechanism, processes, whole things. So those who are registered in these companies and are regulated and have the registration with these companies alone and are registered with IBBI, they can only act as professional to implement this whole mechanism. Second category of professionals involved is the valuation professional, because ultimately in any company financial resolution is that a lot of valuation is required. Various assets, machine, land, building, and other asset type of assets are there, which have to be properly valued so that they can be transferred and the money can be realized out of it. So second category is of valuation professional. This is also a lucrative career for young students, where they can become valuation professionals, and lawyers, etc. are there. So the current ecosystem of financial resolution is IBC law code, NCLT, IBBI, insolvency professionals, valuation professionals, and lawyers. These together, and ultimately financial institutions and banks, they also have a very strong presence in the resolution mechanism, because almost a lot of money, bad money has been tied up into for the bank loan, etc. So ultimately, if a company which because of certain risk, maybe genuine risk or fraud or mismanagement, inefficiency, goes into a bad situation, then the insolvency professional looks into the whole mechanism. Can this company be revived? Can this company be given to some another promoter? If this is not possible, should this company go into liquidation because it has no future for a revival, etc.? In that case, it should go into liquidation. Then the assets have to be realized. Whatever assets, money can be realized. And in case of liquidation, what are the stakeholders who have who have given money to the company? How their interest of the stakeholders have to be resolved, and what is the ranking? How this money should be given? So this total activity by the insolvency professional, once he is appointed through the approval of NCLT by the company or the financial institution or any of the stakeholders, which does not receive its money, then this insolvency professional will make out a full plan, and later on that plan will be approved by the NCLT, and once this is approved, this insolvency professional gets a fees for implementing that. So this is the way this current scenario in the scenario works. Post-COVID, I would just like, this is my last slide, I would just like to mention is that we had over the last several years, lot of non-performing assets had accumulated in the bank. Earlier, the attempt by the bank to resolve the money and get their money back from the bank companies. There were several experiments in India about the Sarfasi Act or ARC, Asset Reconstruction Company. Many of the resolution mechanism in discussion with RBI and the IBA and Ministry of Finance were implemented, but they were not very successful. But once with the advent of IBC, which is considered to be the most advanced law across the globe, which can tackle this bankruptcy code, which takes into account all the scenarios, different scenarios in the country, and has become quite successful in resolving this mechanism. But when the COVID COVID crisis came, again the RBI, etc., came out with certain relaxation in the repayment credit scenario, because they announced certain moratorium on repayment, even the interest, etc. So based on this COVID, people think that once this IBC resolution was nicely in place and was giving results, and lot of money was being realized, even certain companies which were good companies and were badly managed, they also have been changed from the inefficient management to the better management. Certain integration has also taken place, and the process was going smoothly. So this COVID crisis has put some break into that whole mechanism. And so therefore, in this current budget, the government has come out with certain more announcement. That is the new announcement about the asset reconstruction company, which at present talks about that whatever bad assets have accumulated into the banking institutions or financial institutions, they will be taken over by the asset reconstruction company formulated by the government, which will be a pass-through vehicle where it will see that instead of insolvency and bankruptcy professional, which was a very, IBC is a slightly harsher law. So in between as a pass-through vehicle, new ARC are being formulated in this budget. And in that ARC, what the government now thinks is, in addition to IBC, etc., is that we will put up those assets, NPAs, etc., with the bank for auctions or for other companies to manage them. Suppose bank A, X, has one project which has gone bad and which is not working due to various reasons. It can ask the asset reconstruction company to take over that asset at a discounted value, and the asset reconstruction company will take over that asset temporarily and put out that whole project on a auction block. And whichever company thinks that we can manage this project in a better way, that company can go for open bid, and ARC will select that. Those are called asset management companies, where private companies can also come into play. And when the ARC selects one of the asset management company to take over that asset, and that asset management company will pay to the ARC, and ARC will pay to the bank. So this is another mechanism temporarily being played into the current scenario. So these are the issues that I wanted to talk to you about my presentation. And The last thing that I would like to tell here is that these resolution mechanism at place which I have talked now is for manufacturing and infrastructure project. There are another segment of large companies which are facing problems in the resolution is about the financial institution, financial sector. We have seen that cooperative banks, certain cooperative banks are not able to meet their liabilities, like PMC Bank in Mumbai and other private banks, etc. Earlier, Lakshmi Vilas Bank was in difficulty. So there also a resolution mechanism is required. Government is working on another law, FRDI, Financial Resolution and Deposit Insurance. That is a similar kind of IBC resolution mechanism for financial institutions, because they have a very different ecosystem of working. They are taking public money also, so they require a different set of resolution mechanism. So I wanted to, that is a slight bigger topic. We can discuss it some other day, but ultimately I wanted to give you an idea that India is embarking on a new roadmap of financial resolution, and a reasonable and respectable exit route in addition to entry for the businesses is also part of ease of doing business mechanism that we have already set up, and therefore our ease of doing business ranking is improving. We target that globally we will come below the rank of 50 nearly, because this is an important part of that resolution mechanism. I have tried to give you some of the career options that in future you can look after with regard to insolvency professional, valuation professionals, and various 3 institutes are giving this regulatory registration requirement training courses. Even Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, a government body on which governing board I was there. So they have a 2 years course specifically dealing with this mechanism, and new opportunities with regard to asset management companies, etc. are also coming. It's a very exciting, challenging job. It will help our bank to strengthen. It will help reducing the risk in the businesses, contain that risk, and even help in the dispute resolution mechanism, and money get unproductive money, which is sometimes locked up into various assets, getting resolved. And resolution is more of a companies running as a going concern. It is not a process of simply liquidating any company. So the IBC professional has the main responsibility to first look into various issues so that the company can continue as a going concern. That's very important. So thing, and insolvency is based on not only that assets are not sufficient to meet liability, sometimes asset liability mismatch on the time frame also takes place. So this was the some of the point that I wanted to talk. Thank you, Sadhna ji, Shivani ji, and Shama Prasad Mukherjee College for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. We can proceed.
We should thank you, sir, for sharing your insight with us. Now I invite questions. If any of the participant would like to ask anything. जो अभी सुना है शायद गुन रहे हैं और फिर मन में प्रश्न उठेंगे, जिज्ञासाएं।
तो मैंने अपना वो ट्विटर हैंडल भी शेयर कर दिया, गोपाल के अग्रवाल, या मैम के थ्रू भी आप कर सकते हैं। बट ये बड़ा एक्साइटिंग सब्जेक्ट है, आप लोगों को कैरियर में लेना चाहिए। आने वाले समय में बहुत अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटीज एंड लॉट ऑफ मनी एंड इकोनॉमिक गुड फॉर द कंट्री विल हैपन थ्रू दिस।
यस सर। नहीं, आप तो जितने भी टॉपिक्स पर बोलते हैं तो वो सारे के सारे बड़े माइंड ब्लोइंग होते हैं। अभी ये लोग सब विचार करके एंड अपने स्टूडेंट्स के पास लेकर जाएंगे इस इश्यू को और आपको हम बुला ही लेंगे क्योंकि अब तो हमने आपको सब लिया है ना और देख लिया है कि हमको हर इश्यू पर आपको बुलाना चाहिए। क्योंकि डायरेक्ट हमें पता चलता है कि जो इंफॉर्मेशन है वो बिल्कुल ऑथेंटिक होगी। इसीलिए मेरा इस टॉपिक पर तो अग्रवाल साहब को ही बुलाओ तभी होगा ठीक। बजट एनालिसिस पे हमने अतुल गुप्ता जी लाया इस बार।
अच्छा अच्छा, हाँ बजट तो काफी अच्छा है। हाँ, तो इसमें तो क्या है कि ये नया एक्साइटिंग टॉपिक है और इसमें बहुत कुछ पढ़ना, अभी हिंदुस्तान में बहुत कुछ डेवलप भी होना है, रिसर्च भी होना है, तो ये अच्छा टॉपिक आपने चूज किया।
जी जी,
मैंने कहा हमने
ठीक है
सुना
फिर, है
और
ना?
बड़ा
हाँ।
थैंक यू
सारी
सर।
जो है मिल जाती है आप लोगों को सुनने के बाद, क्योंकि उससे तो पढ़ना मुश्किल है हमारे लिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप हमेशा टाइम दें, टाइम चेंज किया तभी भी आपने उसको एक्सेप्ट किया, तो मैं तो आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कर रही हूँ इसके लिए।
मेरा इट्स माय प्लेजर ऑलवेज टू टॉक टू द स्टूडेंट एंड फैकल्टीज, है ना? ओके
सर, मैं आपका धन्यवाद करूं उसके बाद सर, केवल आपने विषय से जुड़ी हुई बातें ही नहीं बताई हैं, बल्कि आपने जो हमारे बहुत सारे शोधार्थी जुड़े होंगे इस प्रोग्राम के साथ, आपने उनको नए करियर ऑप्शंस की भी जानकारी दी। ये एक बड़ी बात रही है। एनसीएलटी किस तरह से काम करता है, इंसॉल्वेंसी बैंक्रप्सी लॉ के बारे में डिटेल में आपने बताया। यू ऑल्सो टॉक्ड अबाउट द वेरियस इनिशिएटिव्स बीइंग टेकन बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इन दिस एरिया, जिससे कि इकोनॉमिक बूस्ट हो सकता है, किस तरह से बाजार को ताकत मिल सकती है, इसके बारे में आपने चर्चा की। किन शब्दों में धन्यवाद करूं ये मैं नहीं जानती हूं, इसलिए ये ऋण हम पर बना रहे और दोबारा हम आपको सुन सकें, इस कामना के साथ आपका बहुत बहुत आभार करती हूँ। धन्यवाद सर।